when they was up there, those guys were up there, they said, hey, we're supposed to start communion, and so you're going to come on down. And they had a bowl of juice, and then they had a bread, a big block of bread. And you went down, and you would pinch the bread, and you would dip it, and then you would take it. And the guy that was in my group, and the man that I just had fallen in love with as far as being a godly man and just kind of directed me in so many ways to this day, his name was George, but he was always a cut-up, man. He was always, man, he'd make me laugh at anything. But that Sunday morning, he looked at me and he said, man, dude, I love you. And he said, God's got a plan for you. And he said, it's going to blow your mind. A year later, da-da. But I had communion for the very first time in Windy Gap, North Carolina. Tonight, I hope you guys get to experience communion before your Lord and Savior, but before your family for the very first time. And I promise you it's going to be a great one. All right. Let's get this thing started. Because, you know, normally on communion night, and all folks know this, we start out, man, because we're going to talk about, you know, Christ and what he, you know, how he's going to get beat and all this stuff. But, man, it's Christmas. We got to start out even more because, you know what? The greatest gift of all was the gift of that virgin birth that took place in Bethlehem. And Joseph and Mary, I mean, number one, after Joseph had found out that his fiancée is pregnant, time out. I wasn't a part of that. What's going on here? And so you're pregnant, and how's this going to happen and stuff? And he says, and you're telling me the angel of the Lord came to you and said that you were going to give birth to the Messiah? Am I really supposed to believe that? Well, let me ask you, would you believe it? Would you believe that if your bride come to you and said, hey, honey, I want to tell you something, and I want you to understand it's from the angel of the Lord? You'd probably sit back and go, you need to go that way a little far, you know, down 18. And you'd find yourself at the cuckoo house. But that's not the case. What happened was Joseph plugged in something very important that a lot of times us guys would forget. If our wife come to us and told us something, we would probably forget this little step. He went to God. He says, God, is this, you know, what am I supposed to do, God? I love Mary with all my heart. God, I planned this whole life with her, and God, I mean, what am I supposed to do? And God said, Joseph, you're supposed to love her, and you're supposed to help me be the father of the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And so they got together, and they said, you know, Mary, here I am. Mary, here I am, and I'm going to be with you no matter what. No matter what anybody else says, I'm going to stand with you, and we're going to give birth to this child, and we're going to do what we've been called to do. Joseph's a pretty stand-up man, isn't he? So there they are. They've taken off, and they're going into Bethlehem. There was a census that was taking place, and so they had to come before everybody, and they was riding that donkey, and you know that was a great ride. That's even better than van drive, I'm sure. But anyway, they're coming down through there, and there's just a lot of, you know, heartache and thought going on as far as how we're going to take care of this baby, how we're going to do this, and I know God's got a plan, but man, still we're in reality. We're in reality knowing of what's fixing to take place. As they got closer to Bethlehem, Joseph started looking at Mary, and Mary kind of had that look on her face. A lot of you guys in this room have seen that look before in the wee hours of the morning, and the panic of grabbing the suitcases, and oh wait, we might want to carry her with us. That's experience. But anyway, you know, you're like, man, we got to get to the hospital. We got to get something to do. You know, we got to take care of this. But we all know that there was no hospital. Matter of fact, there wasn't even a room. There wasn't even a room to house the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Joseph was panicking. He was almost angry. He was really, really upset that nobody had room for them. Do you understand that I'm supposed to give? My wife's giving birth. Does anybody even care? And one guy raised his hand. He said, "Hey, I ain't got much, but that's all I've got." And he pointed to a manger, which was actually not just a stable, not just something we see. It's actually a hole in the mountain. It's like a cave, and that's where all the animals stay. Not a lot of wind blows through there. So you know that all that stuff that animals do is in there, and it just, not really nice place, especially if you're giving birth. I mean, you go to a hospital now, you got those little squirt things all over the walls and everything's sterilized. But Mary's fixing to give birth to the King of Kings and Lord of Lords in a stable? In a hole in a mountain? That's not fitting for our King. That's not fitting for the Messiah. I don't know if they just said, "Hey, this will do," or it was like, "This is it. We got to go now." You know, God kind of works that way sometimes. It's funny how when we're really looking to do something and a lot of doors begin to shut and there's really only one door out there. So a stable it was. Here's the manger. How in the world is anybody ever going to know that just we're giving birth to the King of Kings and Lord of Lords and nobody's going to know? We're in the middle of a stable. Nobody cares. But see, God had a plan. We go over into Luke and we begin to read and see where God sends His angel. The angel of the Lord comes before the shepherds, and these guys are out doing their job, man. They're taking care of all these sheep and doing the things that they need to do, and all of a sudden, this big old light shines up. I mean, it's an angel of the Lord, man. The glory of the Lord, it says, shined around. And you know that had to be just absolutely unbelievable to see that. Matter of fact, I imagine I would have just bolted. I was scared to death anyway. I wouldn't have been out there in the dark in the first place. But then to have the angel of the Lord come, man, that would just be unbelievable. Today in Bethlehem is born the Savior of the world. You got to go see it. Well, how in the world are we going to get there? GPS is broke over here. I don't know exactly how to get there. What are we going to do? How do we get there? It says, follow the star. And at that moment, God, just like God does, turned on the light. And the light shone on that stable. Right there. Right there where Mary was giving birth to the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. At that very moment, there are these guys in the Bible we've heard about, the three wise men. I don't know if that meant they were really good financial people or what, but they had the bling bling over there in the parade at Lexington. So, I mean, they look really sharp. But I know that these guys sat back and as wise men, and they said, you know what? There's something more. We're missing something. There's got to be something. We're not able to follow all these laws. I mean, we've got so many laws right now that there's just no way we can follow them. We keep failing at it. We keep coming with sacrifices, and we keep coming with blood altar sacrifice and virgin altars, and we're doing all these things to get right with God. There's got to be an answer. There's got to be something that is going to draw us to God, and we're going to be able to have peace and freedom in our life. These men began to follow that star. Over several weeks, actually, after Christ was born, before they got there. And down these roads that they had to travel and so many different things that they had to go through, the wise men never gave up. They never gave up. They continued their search. They continued to follow the star. Some of you tonight may have come in here searching. You may have come in here just absolutely just seeking something in your life. There may be just a huge void. You're following the light. The light of Christ. And the gift that He has to give you.